could have been off the air, could have been on the air on radio somewhere else, because I was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised because guys like Paul Schwartz were reporting it before it ever happened, that the Giants decided to part ways with James Bradberry. And the Philadelphia Eagles thanked the Giants for that profusely, because Bradberry came in here and it was great for Philadelphia. They got themselves in a salary cap situation. New GM came in, had to sign the rookies. Somebody had to go, and they chose Bradberry. Give us the backstory. Give our Eagle listeners the backstory on that. Why Bradberry was the guy they singled out. Knew somebody was going to become a cap casualty. He ended up being the guy signing here, having a great year here, re-signing here. How did Bradberry's days at the Giants come to an end?
Well, he played well. It wasn't because of performance. He was the highest paid guy, pretty much. And yeah, they got in terrible cap situation. They had a new regime change, and they just couldn't. It just, Joe Schoen came in and looked at it and said, we don't have the luxury of having James, and Adoree Jackson, the other cornerback, makes good money too. Not Bradberry money, but he makes good money. So he just looked at that and said, we can't do it. Somebody has to go. Now, you know how it is. On your own team, you're not going to accept a pay cut. On another team, you may take a little less, right? And you guys have seen Bradberry for a year. He's like a baseball player, right? He is what his stats say. Is he a great leader? I mean, no. Is he a great personality? No. He is a automaton cornerback, which is not bad. I think Darrelle Revis was that. You know what I mean? They go out and they try to shut down the other team. And then they bring their lunch pail, they bring their briefcase. I mean, I thought his reaction after the Super Bowl was classic James Bradberry. He's a really good player.
I grabbed his jersey. He admitted to it. You're right.
I'm right. I mean, everyone in Philly was outraged.
Yeah.
Except
James
for the guy
who did it. Yeah. He
did it, right? And I remember, you guys, this is an inside journalism thing. My office was emailing me and texting me, because I'm writing sidebars on the Super Bowl, and they're saying, you have to go crazy with the outrage in Philly. You have to write that this was a terrible call and this is awful and this cost him the game. And I said, okay, and I'm getting ready to write it. And then you go talk to James Bradberry, and I call the office, and I email him and I say, I don't know if we can be more outraged than James Bradberry can, because he's not outraged, And they're like, well, it's an outrage. And I said, well, I know there's outrage, but the player said, yeah, I did it, and I wish they didn't call it. So. Look, that was, good by the Eagles to pick him up, that they had the money to do that. The Eagles always seem to come up with the money. Joe Schoen just looked at it and said, we just can't pay him. It's not they didn't like the player. And once they got rid of him, that became the biggest hole on the team. And It was the biggest hole on the team all year. So it's not like they had a plan to replace him. They didn't. They just, now, what the replacement is this year? Deonte Banks.
Deonte Banks, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought it made sense from the Giants' perspective. They're bringing in Wink Martindale. They need press corners. James is a great zone corner. Smart, savvy. You're right, Paul. He is even keeled, man. He was like, yeah, I did it, but I was hoping they didn't call it.
And you're right. It was not a great scheme fit, although he's a really good player. He's just
really good player.
Look, would Wink have wanted him? Yes, because there was nobody there better than him. But, I think when they looked at it, they said, well, he's not a great scheme fit, so we can't afford him anyway, so it has to happen that way. It worked out great for the Eagles. And, it would have been better if we went to the Chargers and then the Giants wouldn't have to worry about him. But, that's what happens.
And by the way, I